What is an example of a good filter and a bad filter when reading the Bible?
What is the example of a good filter and a bad filter when reading the Bible? So what's a good interpretation or a good skill of interpretation and one that's negative? That's a really interesting question. I think that if your filter draws life and probably leads you to more questions, then it's a good filter. Because the Bible is not intended to be sort of the stopping point, like the cul-de-sac of wisdom. It's intended to be more of a place of a throughway, like a bridge from one place to another. And often that's like a kind of a wrestling match. In fact, Israel means to wrestle. And the identity of God's people is to move from being sort of what's called the grabber, trying to grab everything, to being a person that is willing to engage and wrestle and hold on. And so the image actually of Bible study is wrestling with God all night long and not winning but not losing. Because that's kind of what happens in that story, is that he wrestles with God all night long, won't let go. And then at the very end, God says, okay, and says, you've done well. And then he says he touches his hip, and puts his hip out of place is sort of this deal, which seems like a really weird thing. But really all that means is this: he never walks the same way again. He's affected by wrestling with the Bible. Or with God, and in this case, we're talking about the Bible. So I think if you're looking at something where you wrestle and it's hard, and sometimes you lose some of your faith to get more, and it's really life-giving in the process, then that's a good filter. Jesus seems to do that. You ever notice that he never says, they ask him a question, he never is like, this. It's always like, and here's a story, and here's another question, and here's a challenging idea. I mean, Jesus is always using the filter that moves you to get life, to wrestle, and then to have muscle to do it again. A negative filter would be to say, you're going into the Bible with something that you're looking to prove. I want to prove that this is true. And then I'm going to use the Bible, little quotes of the Bible, to affirm what I already believe. And that happens a lot. People can find scripture all over the place to affirm stuff that they already believe. I mean, if you really want to talk about it in deeply spiritual and mysterious ways, it actually says that Satan knows the Bible as well, if not better than anybody else, and is easily capable of using that for his own structures. So anytime I see a filter that's trying to end the conversation, anytime I'm seeing the filter that's trying to say your questions are dangerous, anytime I see a filter that's trying to minimize or kind of stilt somebody's growth, that's not a good filter. Anytime I see one that's life-giving and kind of fearless, then that's a good filter.